Hello, everybody. This is Tonya Dawn Recla, your superpower expert, and we're here today with
Neva Lee Recla, your superpower kid,
and
Justin Recla, another superpower expert.
Awesome. Well, today we're going to be talking about awakening people to freedom, which is very appropriate since it is the 4th of July. Right? So this is the U.S. Independence Day. And so we wanted to take this time to talk about this topic because it really is what drives us. It's what fuels us as a family, what the mission behind our businesses, and just about everything we do. So what do you think awakening people to freedom, what does that mean to you?
letting them know that they're free.
Letting them know that they're free? That's good. What about you?
Stepping into who they are and realizing that you don't have to be a prisoner of the stories that you've created, the experiences that you had. None of that is who you are. And when you realize that, you are truly free.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Like, who are we? Like, what would you say? Who are we? Like, who are people?
Well, I'm your dad.
You are my dad.
Yeah. So we play roles.
Right? We have roles, right?
Dad, mom,
You're my daughter.
Yeah.
Right?
So what else? Like, what about the essence of who we are? How would you describe that? How do you understand it?
Angels sent down by God.
Angels sent down by God. Are you being facetious or do you mean that? Like, who are we? What are we? Like, what's the meaning of life? Like, what are we doing here? What's the point?
Changing the world.
We're changing the world, but why did we come in the first place?
To show people that they can be free.
Okay. So what does that entail? Like, does that just mean that you can run around and not follow any rules?
No.
What about experiences? How do your experiences play into that?
Experiencing freedom.
Okay. In what way, though? How do you like to experience freedom in your life? What does that look like?
I like being able to like play and be with my dog and be with my family.
So let me ask you this. Do you like rules? Or do you like to make your own rules up?
Honestly, I'm just gonna be honest and say that I'm a rebel, and my godmother sent me a good night stories for rebel girls.
She did. Big shout out to Megan Learcamp, Mommy Meg.
I do not like rules.
She does not like rules.
I don't.
Well, okay, but let's get clear about that because I think that there's a misconception about freedom. Freedom meaning that you don't have to follow rules, but you make kind of rules and guidelines for your life, right?
Yeah, boundaries.
Boundaries, yeah.
I like certain rules.
Ones that you agree with.
Yes.
Right. So for instance, and I remember growing up, I was a lot the same way. My parents are laughing about payback with this one, but the little things like of course there are rules. So I happen to feel like stoplights are a phenomenal idea. I think that all of us abiding by stoplights when we're driving creates order on the roads and keeps us from getting in a lot of accidents, right?
Yes. Those are good rules, right? It keeps everybody safe.
Yes.
So we're not talking about total chaos and anarchy. Anarchy is like not following any rules and being totally opposed to it.
Yeah, I'm not that way.
No. And so part of, I know that we're kind of talking in multiple levels here, but the whole purpose behind Superpower Experts is really helping people first master their personal power, understand and manage their own individual resonance, and then move into full autonomy. And that is about 10 steps beyond where most people take things like self-help and, personal development.
Yeah, it's the most people get to that point where I like to call it is that they like to pitch a tent.
Yeah.
Right. They get to a certain level of their own awareness and they get comfortable and they pitch a tent and then they surround themselves with all other people that are at the same campground that are reaffirming that you're okay where you are by all means, but then there's another step above that. And guess what? When you take that jump, there's another step above that. And
never ends.
And Tonya refers to it as the her elevator concept, right? You're going up, and the top floor is like enlightenment, right? The top floor is where you disapparate and you go to heaven, wherever it is that whatever your belief is, right? That's that enlightenment, please. Certain people get off the elevator at certain areas, and sometimes they pitch a tent because they're recognizing that's as far as they want to grow, and that's cool. There's nothing wrong with that. But our belief as a family and what we teach at Superpower Experts is that there's always room for growth, always room for growth. And sometimes you got to stay on the elevator to get there. And I'll be the first to admit that it's not always fun.
It's not.
It's not always fun. Those pieces come up, don't they?
I call them gremlins.
Gremlins. Okay, her gremlins come up. Hell, my gremlins come up.
I'm not very fun to live with.
But no, you are. No, because here's the thing. Because we made a pact to do this together, right? And I'll be the first to admit, this woman right here, this one kicks my ass on a regular basis. She does.
She kicks his arse.
But that's what I asked her to do for me, because I'm going up, because in order for me to help people down here or wherever they're at, I got to deal with my own shit. I got triggered today. Found myself in pure sadness. She reminded me it was just a piece of me, right? And moved through it, done. No longer a story.
So we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we're going to talk with Neva about the concept of awakening people to freedom and what that looks like as a 7-year-old person in the world. So we'll be right back.
Are you here to change the world? Do you talk about things like vibration, frequency, awakening, and consciousness? Are you pretty sure you have superpowers? The Superpower Net is unlike normal coaching programs and conscious communities. We provide training, intuitive guidance, peer-to-peer learning, intensive one-on-one coaching, and a high vibrational network of people just like you. When you join the net, you get 24/7 access to a collaborative group of people who support you as you master your personal power and unlock your superpowers. If you're ready to use your superpowers to change the world, then join the Superpower Net today. Visit superpowerexperts.com/thenet to learn more.
Okay, we're back. Thanks for joining us. And if you're just dropping in, we are talking about awakening people to freedom. And we're going to talk to Neva a little bit about what that looks like as a young person here in the world, right? Because part of the challenge for you has always been, even from birth, the concept that you chose to be born an infant and to come into the world and experience infancy and childhood and stuff like that. But I'm sorry, I'm watching like the camera, like, brrr, so we're bumping it. I was like, we're vibrating over here. We operate in different realms. It's okay, everybody, just close your eyes. And so from infancy on, part of your challenge has been like, why do people treat me like a kid, right? And we keep explaining to you, like, you chose to be born an infant. Like you could have.
You look like a child.
Yeah, you could have done a walk-in routine and come in as an adult. You could have just apparated as whatever you wanted to be, but instead you chose to be born into the world, right? How is that? How do you experience that?
Well, one, I just want to admire how all of us are wearing black.
That was very smart. We're super sophisticated family. Yes, thank you.
And then what was the question?
Did you see that? That was called deflection.
Not listening.
That's
deflection. Not listening.
And not wanting to answer the question. That was a gremlin coming up right there.
Take 2.
Yeah. Let's talk about clothes. Clothes are easy and safe. What's the experience been like, coming into the world and knowing ultimately being connected to the highest aspect of who you are and having experienced that kind of freedom and then having that kind of taken away, if you will, coming into infancy?
It's been tough. Like, people treating me like I'm a kid. Sure, I'm 7 in this body, but it kind of breaks my heart, especially because I grow up around adult environments, and people sometimes take away my freedom.
Yeah. But that's a great point. So I something I want to highlight. So you spend a lot of time in adult environments, and I know you do, okay, because you're with us. We're 24/7, and you do spend a lot of time. But you manage yourself very well there because you get it, because you're connected to your higher self. But what about, you like being a kid too?
I love being a kid, but there's pros and cons in being in adult environments and being like a kid. Yeah. Being like a kid, you don't really have that much freedom. And actually, one of my 5 points is give your kids choice. And
5 points of what? Let's talk a little bit about that.
What are your 5 points?
Well, you don't have to name them, but what are they about?
They're about how to teach adults on how to help their kids get into business.
Yeah, and so one of those is choice, right?
And that's not what kids get sometimes if they choose. And my parents had me choose that either to be in adult environments or go stay with the kids, and I chose adult environments, which is going to be an interesting route to go on.
Well, and that's the beautiful thing, though, is that right? Intrinsically, you have choice in everything that you do.
Yes.
right? And you get to choose what you want to experience, right?
Yeah.
Well, and you get to be a kid in adult environments. But what you learned early on too is that there are consequences for choice, and there are rules for different environments. And it was never a situation where you get to walk into the environment and think you're going to alter it just because you want to be different there, right? You get to add to it, which I think that we've seen at the events that you've been to recently, is that you add something to the environment as opposed to taking away from it by being a kid in those worlds, right?
You want to know a secret? It's not just you. We all have choice in the environments we're in.
You do.
She's just chose to really adopt that and embrace it, honestly. So what's freedom mean to you? Let's go back to the point of awakening people to freedom. What does freedom mean?
Well, to me, it does not mean breaking the rules. Just as a FYI, it means to me still being nice to people, but having choice on being able to like play how you want to play, being able to sing how you want to sing. And like I was saying earlier, when Mom and I were doing the interview, don't let anyone stop you from doing that.
That's right.
Perfect.
That's
I
right.
love it. What does freedom mean to you, honey?
To me, it's this. It's just this interconnectivity, the personal accountability. It's the saying no. That's just a story, and it's empowering each other with the language of recognizing that the stuff that comes up for most people, it still comes up for us, but we don't give it voice. We don't give it language. We look at it, we inspect it and go, oh, what's that little nugget? So freedom for me is literally being able to do that together as a family, and empowering her and our kids to really step into that on their own, and recognizing that freedom for me is literally stepping into recognizing that you've got choice in everything that you do, everything that you feel, everything that you experience, and you don't have to stay stuck.
Absolutely. And for me, it's really playing in those realms of full autonomy. And I've heard, if you've listened to any of the podcasts, you've heard me talk about those, and I have a lot of curriculum out around that. But really taking a hard look about 2 years ago now, I asked to be shown anywhere where I had anything that was holding any kind of governance over me from outside of myself. And it came up. I was shown. I got exactly what I asked for, and I was able to integrate it and move into that space of autonomy. And I'm happy to be able to show you the same. But for right now, let's go ahead and wrap up. We've been talking about awakening people to freedom.
Can I tell them a little secret?
Quickly.
We're aliens.
If you didn't hear that, she said we're aliens.
That's our secret. Shh, don't tell anyone.
Wait.
Very cool. What?
Do you know what time it is?
No.
What time is it?
Honey, FaceTime!
Oh, no.
Awesome. We're the Reclas, and happy 4th of July. Happy Independence. Celebrate it. Live it. And thank you for joining us. As always, we appreciate your loyalty. And until next time, go out, uncover your superpowers, and
We can change the world.
Bye-bye.
Bye.